When the wind forgets your name. The last thing Zainab remembered was the way her mother's voice cracked as she whispered goodbye. No loud cries, no anger, just silence and the soft rustle of a plastic hospital curtain. "I'll be back," her mother had said. But she didn't come back. That was 12 years ago. Now, at 26, Zainab sat across a therapist who wore a warm smile and shoes too white to be real. They called it inner child healing. They asked her how she felt. "I'm fine," she replied. Fine was easier than truth. The truth was jagged and bitter. The truth was that life had been unfair. Her mother had left her in a foster home and never returned. People said she had died. Some said she had run away. No one truly knew. But life moved on. Zainab moved on. She went to school, grew breasts, learned to braid her own hair, got cheated on, fell in love, got cheated on again. Now she worked at a bookstore, the kind where people came not to read, but to be seen reading. She rarely thought about her mother. Not in the way people think you should. She didn't cry in the shower or write letters to heaven. She had simply put the memory in a box and buried it. Until last week. It arrived with no stamp, no sender's name. Just her full name, Zainab Aluyatoni Abdul, in shaky cursive on a plain envelope. Inside was a single note. "The past was never meant to be forgotten. Your mother never left you. She was taken. Come home. Ask for Papa Isaiah." There was no address. Zainab stared at the note for hours that night. At first, she laughed. It was obviously a scam, or a prank, or a trauma-triggered hallucination. But something gnawed at her bones. A pull, a whisper, a hunger. The next day, she called in sick, packed a small bag, and boarded a night bus heading toward Abadan, the town where she was born but barely remembered. She got off at the last bus stop. A muddy path stretched ahead, cutting through dense trees in silence. "Do you know Papa Isaiah?" she asked an old woman selling roasted corn by the roadside. The woman looked up sharply, eyes wide like she'd seen a ghost. Then she smiled. "Follow the scent of bitter leaf and fire," the woman said. "When the wind shifts, stop. That's where he lives." Zainab blinked. "Sorry, the wind?" But the woman had turned away, humming softly. Zainab walked for nearly an hour. Then, as if the world exhaled, a breeze stirred, carrying the sharp scent of burning herbs and something ancient. She followed it until the trees opened into a clearing. There, sitting on a stool before a dying fire, was an old man with skin like weathered leather and eyes like thunderclouds. "You came," he said without looking at her. Zainab's voice caught. "Are you Papa Isaiah?" He nodded. "And you are Zainab, daughter of Teo, granddaughter of Adis. You carry the ache of many lives." He didn't ask her name or offer food. He simply began to speak, as though the story had been waiting for decades to be told. "Your mother didn't leave. She was taken because she carried light too bright for the world she was born into. There are people, souls, rather, who were born to awaken others. Your mother was one of them. But light threatens those who thrive in shadows." Zainab stared. "You're saying my mother was kidnapped?" "Yes," he said simply. "Not with guns, but with grief, with manipulation. She was told she was insane, institutionalized, drugged, made to forget." Zainab felt her throat tighten. Why didn't anyone stop it? Because the world loves its illusions, and truth is often treated as madness. Papa Isaiah stood, walking to a large wooden chest. He opened it and retrieved a dusty leather journal. "This belonged to your mother," he said, handing it to her. Zainab flipped through the pages. Drawings, poems, a list of her name written over and over. Then, near the center, a single entry stood out. "If I disappear, tell her I didn't leave because I didn't love her. I left because they made the truth unbearable. But she will find me. I know she will." The words blurred as tears filled her eyes. That night, Zainab slept under the stars on a straw mat. The wind howled like it remembered her name. Dreams swirled, memories not her own. Her mother's laughter, her screams. A woman singing lullabies inside a room with no windows. She woke up sobbing. "Why now?" she asked Papa Isaiah the next morning. "Why tell me all this now?" He stirred his herbs slowly. "Because you are ready. And because your mother, she is dying." Zainab froze. "She's alive." "Barely. Her body is in a hospital in Lagos. Her mind is trapped somewhere between now and never. But if you go, maybe she will remember. Maybe she will return." The next day, Zainab returned to Lagos, with nothing but the journal in her bag and a name on her lips. The nurse hesitated when Zainab asked to see her. "She doesn't speak," she warned. "Hasn't in years." They led her to a room with pale green walls and the soft hum of machines. In the corner, by the window, sat a frail woman with hair like uncombed wool and eyes that seemed to search the air for something that never came. Zainab stood at the doorway, heart racing. "Mama," she whispered. No reaction. She stepped closer. "It's me, Zainab." Still nothing. Desperately, she pulled out the journal and flipped to the poem. Her voice trembled as she read it aloud. "The stars do not forget, even when the world sleeps. If you were searching, my child, follow the echo of my name. Beyond the veil of fear." The woman stirred. Her lips twitched. Slowly, slowly, her eyes moved. And then, "Zainab," she croaked. The nurse gasped. Tears broke loose. Zainab rushed forward, gripping her mother's hand like it was the only thing tethering her to the world. "I found you. I found you," she sobbed. "I came home." Her mother's recovery was slow but miraculous. Words returned, then memories. Broken, scattered, but real. She remembered the men in white coats, the voices that told her she was broken, the pills that dulled her soul, the night she screamed for her daughter and no one came. But now Zainab had come. They moved in together in a small flat with noisy neighbors and a leaky ceiling. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. One evening, her mother whispered something that Zainab never forgot. "Life isn't unfair, Zai. It's just indifferent. It doesn't owe us joy or pain. It just is. But we must decide what to do with what we're given." The wind remembers. Years later, Zainab returned to Papa Isaiah's clearing. But the hut was gone. The fire pit cold. All that remained was a single feather resting on a rock and a note carved into wood. "When the wind forgets your name, whisper it louder." She smiled. For the first time in her life, she understood. Life was not fair or unfair. It was a mirror. And now, when the wind blew, she no longer felt lost. Because she knew who she was. And she remembered everything.